Greetings. This is Ham Radio Test and Review. My name is Dave. My call sign is N8DAV. The motto for my channel is one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm not out on my back deck filming this video, and that's because it's 41 degrees outside. And you know what? I didn't feel like it. So I brought you guys inside, but I will be going out to be testing the next antenna. And this antenna is the HYS, that's the HYS-701N, as in Nancy, dual band antenna. So I'm a little excited about this one. I just like the length of these whip antennas. The 7 to 8 inch long whips are about my favorite length. So we don't always get good antennas, but sometimes we do get a good one or two. So let's do some testing and find out how well it performs. I'll be right back. All right. The antenna comes in a package just like this. And now this is the HYS-701N. And it's nothing much, nothing home to write out, or nothing to write home about. And but it's got a lot of printing on it, and I'll go over with you all the stuff that is printed on it and all the stuff that is specified by the manufacturer. So once again, this is the HYS antenna. It's model number HYS-701N, dual band antenna, which is the 144 megahertz and 430 megahertz as they state. It's 7 3/4 inches long, and as most of you know, this is the my favorite format for a HT antenna. I don't like them way too long, though the signal stick, though being long, does a great job. So I kind of put up with the extra length and the whippiness of it. But I do like these 7 to 8 inch rubberized whip antennas. So anyway, as you saw, it was also orange in color. It has an SMA female connector. It is specified by the manufacturer as being a 50 ohm antenna with an SWR of less than 1.5 to 1. The manufacturer specifies a maximum of 20 watts, and they say that it has a gain of 2.15 dBi on 2 meter and 2.5 dBi on 70 centimeter. There is no wavelength specified, and this is not resonant on any particular frequency. So when I come back, we'll be doing some of the testing. First, we'll start off with SWR, and then we'll do antenna analyzation, then we'll do field strength, and then I'll go out in the field and do some real-world distance and modulation testing, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, we are going to be testing the HYS-701N from HYS Antennas. First thing that I want you to know is I have my antenna test bed set up. Specifically, I do a baseline test before I do any testing on any antenna. I use a signal stick, which I can always get 1.0 to 1 to 1.02 to 1 on all 3 bands, the 2 meter band, the 70 centimeter band, and the GMRS band. So I get 1.02 or less. That's 1.02 or less to 1 on all 3 bands with the signal stick. When I get that, then I know that my test bed is set up properly, and then I start testing with the antenna in question. So with the antenna in question ready to go, on the 2 meter band, we have an SWR of 2.15. All right, back again. We're testing the HYS-701N HT antenna, dual band, and we're testing on the 70 centimeter band this time. We'll see what the SWR is. We get an SWR of 1.60. And like I always do, because these antennas basically state that they're good up to around 520 megahertz, that means that that should be good to test on the GMRS band as well. So for all of my GMRS fans out there, I'm going to test this on the GMRS band, channel 16. And we get an SWR of 1.60. All right, I'm back. So what I always do when I use the power SWR meter to test SWR, the power SWR meter just gives you a general idea of how good or bad the SWR is. The NanoVNA antenna analyzer gives you a much more specific result. And so you can see how it's doing more so on a very specific frequency. So I'm going to turn on the NanoVNA, and it's going to default to the 2-meter band. And we will see right here that we have an SWR on the 146.520 frequency of 4.994. Next, I'm going to do the test on the 70 centimeter band on 446.000. And on 446.000, we have an SWR of 2.150. And last but not least, I will test on the GMRS band as well. And we always test on 462.575. And that is an SWR of 2.217. All right, next up is the field strength test. I always run this test with the same exact radio, set on high power. I use only a fresh battery. The distance between the radio and the frequency analyzer is exactly the same distance every single time. So what I'll do is I'll test on the 2-meter, 70 centimeter, and GMRS bands. And then at the end of the video, I will let you know how they compare to other dual band antennas that I've tested previously. All right, so let's start off with the 2-meter band. All right, testing the HYS-701N HT dual band antenna on the 2-meter 146.520 megahertz band. Next, I test the HYS-701N dual band HT antenna on the 70 centimeter band on 446.000 megahertz. And last but not least, I always test dual band antennas that state they can go up to 500 megahertz on the GMRS band for all of my GMRS fans out there. This is the HYS-701N, channel 16. All right. Out here at Fox Glen Park. This is my favorite park for testing HT antennas for a very good reason. It's approximately 2.6, 2.7 miles. I do have some obstructions, lots of trees, a house or two, a freeway, or actually a bridge overpass, and also there is a little bit of a hill that is semi-blocking my access to my base station antenna. So it's a tough call for a good HT antenna to make it and come back. So poor HT antennas either barely make it or don't make it at all. So I usually grade them as fail, fair, good, and excellent. Very few get the excellent moniker. Most of them get the fair moniker. And a few have also gotten the good moniker. And there have been one or two that have gotten a fail. So here I am. I've got the HYS-701N on top of the Baofeng UV17 Pro GPS. I have it set for high power on the UHF band. Let's test it out and see if it works. N8DAV testing 1, 2, 3, 4. N8DAV testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that surprises the heck out of me. That's actually a good result. I didn't think this antenna was going to do very well, and yet here we are. I think that's an excellent report for an antenna that is obviously compromised in some ways. So let me try that again. I'm kind of wondering if I've got if that was an anomaly or not. N8DAV testing 1, 2, 3, 4. N8DAV testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it came back exactly the same way. Yes, there was some static. I'm going to get static even with the really excellent antennas, just not as much as what I got with this one. So I'm calling this actually good for use on UHF, and if it's going to be good on UHF, chances are it'll also be good on GMRS. Would it be good on 2 meter? I don't know. Let's see. When we get back, I'll be on my back deck because it's a beautiful day today. It's getting warm. So I'm going to be back there and we can go over all the test results and I'll give you my opinion at the very end. All right. Be right back. All right. I'm back out on my deck in the backyard and I hear the dogs barking. They just love to be in on my videos. I don't know why. Can't see them. Anyway. So, what did we learn today from our testing of the HYS-701N antenna? Well, I'll tell you, it's been a mixed bag for me for all the testing and everything. So let's go through this a little bit by little bit and see what we can figure out. First of all, our SWR with the power SWR meter on the 2 meter band was 2.15, yet on the NanoVNA we had 4.994. That's a huge disparity. I would always tend to believe the NanoVNA in this particular case. However, I have to tell you, it in the real world testing or in the field strength testing, it did very well. But I'll get back to you in that in just a minute. So on the 70 centimeter band, it did 1.60 on the power SWR meter and 2.217 on the NanoVNA. That's close enough for me. I believe that those numbers are correct and real. And then I'm sorry, the NanoVNA 70 centimeter was 2.150. Sorry about that. And then on GMRS band, it was very close to the same thing. It was 1.60 on the power SWR meter and 2.217 on the channel 16 on the NanoVNA. I mean, that's close enough for government work, in my opinion. So I believe that the NanoVNA backed up the SWR meter on the 70 centimeter and on GMRS. But on 2 meter, we got this huge disparity. So the next thing we want to look at is the field strength tests. Now the field strength tests, as you know, I do it exactly the same way every time. The only difference is with the antenna that we're using. So on the 2 meter band, I got minus zero point 0.8 dBi, or dBm, I'm sorry. And that is one of the better results I've gotten on 2 meter. Now, why is the SWR so high? And then on the 2 meter band, I got one of the best results I've ever gotten on the field strength. On 70 centimeter, I got an average field strength. And then on the GMRS band, I got a little bit worse than average on the field strength. So when I test for distance and modulation, I test on the UHF band, frequency 445.00. Now, so I didn't test on the 2 meter band. However, this antenna obviously is tuned for the 70 centimeter band. It's very obvious by all the results. When I went and did the distance and modulation tests out at the park, I got a good result. That was a good result I got. That means this antenna does pretty darn well on 70 centimeter, which means it'll probably do just as well on GMRS because the numbers are very similar, especially in the field strength testing and the SWR testing. So I would say if you are looking for a dual band 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna, I would say this might not be the one for you because I'm not sure how well it's going to do on 2 meter. I could go back and run a 2 meter test on it. That's always possible. But I think at this point, it's pretty obvious that 70 centimeter is where this antenna was designed to work the best. And it worked very well on 70 centimeter. Surprised the heck out of me. The thing about this antenna, though, for me, is it is very, very cheap quality. I mean, you can just tell looking at it, feeling it. It came in its package bent. and I can't get it back straight again. So, it's, and of course I paid $11.99 for it with shipping and everything. So, it's not an expensive antenna, but I'm really surprised it did actually rather good on the 70 centimeter band. So I'm going to assume that it'll also do very well on the GMRS band for those of you that want something that's 70 centimeter and GMRS, but don't care about the 2-meter band. So I do like the form factor. I like the 7 to 8 inch antennas, especially ones that don't whip too much. I hate the ones that just anyway. So and that's those are my opinions based on the results that we got in our testing. And all I'm going to ask you is if you like my content, that you might like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And if you want to see more content, please click on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I do release more content, okay? I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much. This is Dave with Ham Radio Test and Review. My call sign is N8DAV. The motto for my channel is one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. And we learned a lot today that sometimes those tests don't always cooperate with each other. But the final test is how well it works out in the field. And we got some fairly good results. So anyway, this is Dave saying 73 and so long.